All right, so we should be live right now, but before we kind of get this interview underway, is there anything that you want to plug or anybody want to shout out?
Um, no, I'm all good.
All right, man, sounds good. Well, anyways, let's get right into this interview. I guess first things first. I know I did tell you we were going to talk a lot about Miami, but I just remembered, like, I think UMass literally offered you like today or at least sometime in the past 24 hours because like that visit. So I'm just curious, like what was the visit like, and like what things did you do on your visit?
Yeah, it was a great visit. Toured around campus with a few of the coaches and just checked out the facilities, checked out the campus. Was just looking how I would fit in and showed me a couple videos and just a great visit overall. Got some shots up in their practice facility. Just got a good feel for it and definitely interested.
And someone I'm kind of curious about, like I've seen a lot of players have been getting offers like right after their visits. So like, why has that been happening with players where they're getting the offer like the day they take their visit or like right after it?
Yeah, I think coaches are just they want to see people and want to talk to them in person and get to know them because it's kind of hard to get to know someone like through a screen and through film, and they just once they see people in person and see their size, I guess there's a lot of they get their questions answered a lot when they see them in person. So I believe that's why there's a lot more happening right now with in-person visits happening.
And I'm sure something that's also kind of like a big factor to it too is it's like they want to see how your personality is. Like if you're gonna be, like a piece of crap there, like they're not gonna want to offer you. So it's like, do you feel at all like any pressure? Like you gotta be like not your best behavior, but like you're almost like you're nervous. Like what if they don't like me and they don't offer me?
Yeah, well, you definitely have to behave in a polite way. I mean, just be yourself. Honestly, I mean, you want to show them like the person you are, and don't try and be too fake. I mean, just be yourself. To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And then, it's funny because I told you like I don't really talk about the recruitment stuff, but just because like so we're talking about. So I guess just to transition into Miami, since I'm kind of a big Miami guy. Like I said, both of my parents went to school and everything. When they offer you, and even that being your first offer, like what did that mean to you to receive an offer from a big time ACC school?
I mean, it felt so good. I mean, it was again my first offer, and I mean, I was working all year. I mean, for many years towards that, and just to finally get that feeling of all the hard work paid off. It felt really good, and especially from a great school like Miami, it meant the world.
And I know you haven't like gone on a visit yet or anything, but and I don't even know how many like conversations you really have with the coaches. But is there any maybe thing in particular maybe the coaches told you or stuff about Miami that you like the most?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had a Zoom the other day, and they were just showing me around campus, showing me their facilities, and I really like how they're a good academic school, and they support their players a lot. It's a great location, just great overall.
And I guess this is like a general question, but like let's say you end up committing to Miami. What would you say you would be bringing to the table? What would you do to kind of help out that program?
Well, I haven't looked too much into the specifics of their team, but I mean, for any program, honestly, I would just bring the ability to stretch the floor and my versatility and someone who's just going to put 100% effort into everything and grab rebounds, block shots, do whatever the coaches need. So that's that. Yeah, I bring just versatility and hard work.
And something special, about Miami and UMass is, like those are both, your first couple of offers and everything. So how much are you going to really be considering those first two schools? So I feel like at least I heard in someone else doing an interview with a player, like, and he said, like, I guess it's a trend sometimes where players usually pick that first school that offers them just because, like that's the first couple schools that really took a chance on you. Like, that's why some players really kind of take that to the heart. So how much are you going to be considering, Miami and UMass, I guess, since they were your first couple offers?
I don't know if I can answer that honestly.
Yeah, no, that was a question. Like, I don't know.
Reach.
It was more of like a fluff kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I told you I was going to write an article, so I was like, I need more fluff. I was going to use that, but that is no worries at all. I'm just very glad you stopped me.
Yeah.
The next thing I wanted to ask, you said academics are important to you and everything. So I guess before we maybe get into being at NMH, which is a very, very highly respected academic school, do you have any idea like what you want to study in college?
Yeah, I definitely like to go into the business side of things. I'm not too much of a science guy, but I'm very interested in like the stock market and how everything goes. And I think if I wasn't playing basketball right now, I'd probably try and maybe start my own business and just find a way to make a dollar.
Yeah, that's definitely it's just, so I'm assuming you watch like a lot of Shark Tank or no?
Yeah, I watch. Yeah, I had a few times where I was just on a Shark Tank phase and just here and there just watching some videos and going on some sites and using apps and simulations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and man, what was my I mean I haven't had a brain fart in a minute, but man, I just had one, so I'm like a little bit annoyed about that. Wait, give me like a second. It was gonna be like a good oh yes, okay, the stock market. Like I don't understand. So my dad's trying to explain. Like I just never get it. So it's like I invest money in, let's say, Google, and then like every month I get like a check. Like if the stock's going up, it's like I get like the money, and then when I want to just cash out, like let's say I somehow earned $100, I just turn it in. But then like $100 is good money. So why do people like just wait so long and everything?
Well, I mean, the stock market's a very complicated thing, and I'm no expert. I'm far from an expert, but from what I have seen, the stock market is just like somewhere where you invest your money and you hope that the company grows and you hope to earn your money back and earn more. I mean, that's a very unprofessional opinion from me. I'm nowhere near qualified.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm still gonna ask, like, because this is something, it's like a unique topic. I don't really get into on these interviews, and I try to do some unique stuff. And more, the question I ask is usually things that I'm genuinely curious about. So, I mean, I'm hoping you know this answer too, because I always ask my dad this too, and I just didn't understand it. Like,
Yeah.
well, I know, so you invest in the company, then you get like almost like on Shark Tank, you get like a certain percentage, but eventually, like, can't the company just run out of giving out percentages or what? Because I don't think like. Because if I invested, let's say, a year ago, then you invest, like I shouldn't lower my percentage because of you, right? Or is that like how does that work?
Yeah, each company has a certain amount of shares they allocate to the public market, and once those shares are out, then that's it. I mean, but that's why there's constant trading on the market, and there's buying and selling. You buy low, sell high.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, that definitely makes sense for sure. And I guess my one final thing, like I know the stock market's almost like low key a trend with that whole like GameStop thing, I guess. So is that kind of what got you into it? Because all of a sudden, like I remember that happened. Then we're on my bus from like a basketball game with my school, because I'm my school's manager and everything. And I see like the guy talking about the stock market, like, yo, the guy's pulled off like $50, whatever, and then all the coaches, like everything. So I don't know, is that kind of what got you into it? Was that whole like GameStop thing?
I would say I was already interested. I mean, my family is a lot of my family members are into the business industry, but I would just say I was always curious with all that kind of business.
Yeah, and I guess one final thing too with the stock market. So I know, like, I guess you guys are from Canada. So is the stock market like, is there even a stock market in Canada, or how does that like? What is that?
No, it's the same thing. I mean, there's just Canadian companies, but it all runs through the same thing.
Yeah, I was definitely like, I wasn't sure if it was maybe like a national, like an international thing, or
Yeah.
what. I was definitely curious about that. But now transitioning into being at NMH, so I know, I guess this incoming season is going to be your third year. So I guess you're kind of like a vet and used to going to that school and everything. So just what have kind of all those years been like, experiencing it at a boarding school like NMH?
Yeah, NMH has been a great experience. I mean, I couldn't ask for any better. It's just been constant grind, but it's really helped me improve. And I mean, playing against guys like the people at NMH, I mean, the players are the highest caliber you're going to get, and the practices are intense, but they get you really good. And our scrimmages and our runs are top tier, and it's just been a great experience. And as well as academically, I mean, they really challenge you academically to be a better student, and you and all the students there are there's high expectations for them, and you have to meet those expectations.
And I know I've asked this question to one of the players before, but it's been a long time since I spoke to someone at NMH. So I'm like wondering in regards to the academics, like why is like what makes the school's academics like harder than going to a regular school?
Um, Probably just the difficulties of the classes, and um, I mean, honestly, I'm not too sure about that. But it's just they have a reputation of being a good academic school.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like they're not gonna say, "Yo, let's just like ruin these kids' lives, like make the classes harder on purpose." Like that's yeah. Are there like do you guys have like AP classes and everything there, or are you on like a whole different class thing?
No, we have AP classes. There's a bunch of different levels that you can choose to take.
Okay, okay. But I guess so for you, like, how have you been able to, I guess, handle, like, I guess it's more like a basic question, like handling, basketball in school, but I feel like that school in particular is probably much more tougher. So how do you handle, like, just that hard academics and then basketball? Or does kind of the school like help you guys out with like a schedule and planning where you guys are kind of, organized on your time thanks to them?
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, but it's all worth it. I mean, we our practice schedule is scheduled around us being able to finish our homework, go to class. We barely miss classes, and we always are on time with our homework. And one thing we use at school is basketball is never an excuse. You should always have time, and coach always makes sure that we have time to be back for study hall and finish our homework, and always have our assignments due for class, and have good grades.
Yeah, and I guess like the one thing is like, what happens, if you don't finish your stuff like in study hall, and then like you're obviously like you gotta go to practice because I'm sure like your coach, it's like shouldn't be an excuse, but it's like you're not gonna just miss practice all day like a couple of times unless that's allowed like because you have homework. I'm assuming it's not though. So what happens like if you don't kind of get it done in those study hall times? Like you just gotta like stay up late and just grind it out after practice.
Yeah, you either got to stay up really late or wake up really early. I mean, there's no way around it. You gotta finish your homework. That's and because you're gonna get more the next day, and it's gonna just be in that same cycle.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm wondering, did you take any AP classes this year or no?
No, I didn't actually. I took an AP French course. That's
But that's kind of like I mean, is that like not really fair in a way?
I think it's fair.
Yeah. Oh, I actually, yeah, you're kind of right because like my school has like like AP Spanish and like all that stuff, and isn't it like taking like language arts, like AP language arts, but in French? That's what I think. I don't know what it's like because I will never take that class, but
I
that's how I
mean,
think it would be.
it was my first time taking a French class at that school, so I wasn't really sure. I just tried it out, and it was fun.
Yeah, but like I'm assuming, like, didn't you take like an English class or anything?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't take any other APs, but yeah, I took English, U.S. history, and
Yeah.
all those other classes.
Yeah. So then so would you say like, your AP French class was like your, I guess, English class, but in French?
Yeah, I mean, I speak a little French. I mean, I shouldn't say a little. I speak French. I was born in Montreal, but I would say the English class is definitely a lot harder because of we go to an English and a prestigious school. So, but French was still pretty hard. I mean, nothing's easy at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like not in terms of like difficulty, but it's more like, in English class, you're going to read a book and whatever. Like, is that kind of the same thing in the AP French class? So you're just going to basically do whatever you do in English class, but it's all in French?
Yeah, we read a few books. I mean, we watch a few videos, textbooks. A lot of projects. I would say it's a bit different than English classes itself, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, because like in AP French, it's like I'm sure in French one and like all that stuff, you're like learning French. But once you get to AP French, you're not really learning the language. You're more like
Discuss-
learning things in French.
exactly. You're more discussion based, more teamwork, more project based.
Yeah, and like I feel like it's just a lot. How to remember all those basketball plays. Then plus like French is not your only class. Like you have all those other classes too. You got to study for. But then being, I guess, bilingual because we're talking in English and French. Like how do you like know all that stuff?
I mean, just born. I mean, you just get used to it after a certain amount of time. Like if French was just like a part of me when I was young. I mean, just growing up in a French in a French city, you just learn to be bilingual.
What language, like when you grew up, were you like only speaking French and then had to learn English, or was it always kind of you were speaking both throughout your life?
I would say mostly I was speaking English, and then I learned French in elementary school. Yeah, my first language was English.
Okay, okay. So, well, I guess I'm assuming. Would you say it's? I guess because you know both the same pretty well, like it's equal. But would you maybe say it was like kind of harder to learn French over English because you started learning that one later?
Yeah, French is definitely harder to learn in general too. I mean, there's so many exceptions and so many, and the grammar is a lot tougher. Uh, but they're all Latin-based languages, so I would say um, the bases are as easy to learn.
Yeah, and kind of like an interesting question, but I thought like English is like one of the hardest languages to learn. Like, is that true, or am I like maybe like I was dreaming or something like that?
I mean, I don't know if I could answer that because I have no language experience. I mean, I I would assume it's as hard to learn as any other language. I mean, they're all pretty difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was just kind of curious because I'm assuming you go to NMH, so I'm sure you have a lot of knowledge, just making like a dumb kind of assumption thing. But what did you guys do like this season? Like I don't know how normal the season was, so what did you guys do?
Yeah, basketball wise, we basically had our own bubble within the school, and we built an outdoor court and played on that a lot and scrimmaged, and then eventually moved inside and had high intensity open runs, and then we started practice a few months in and basically practicing out throughout the regular season. But we unfortunately couldn't play games this year due to all the restrictions, but we still kept it super high intensity, and I think every single person got better despite the pandemic. And then yeah, we closed it out with a lot of scrimmages just to get those kind of game reps.
And of course, like you're gonna get better, but it's like the one thing is you're not playing new competition. Like I feel like even though it's like the same thing in a way, it's also completely different because the guys obviously are gonna know some of the sets you guys are gonna run, and like you guys are more familiar with each other. Like even though you could be like no friends on the court, like it's still probably like somewhat friends on the court. Like no matter what you say, it just feels different playing a stranger than playing someone you recognize and everything. But like, were you at all worried, like maybe when they said, "Hey, you're not going to really play any games," about your exposure and you getting offers and stuff like that?
No, I was not really worried. I mean, they set up a really good plan. Like we have a camera set up, and honestly, I was just worried about getting better this year. I mean, just focusing on my game and how I can get better, and all that stuff is going to come with it. Just like not worry about it and just worry about getting better every day.
And I guess one thing, like, even though I said how it's probably like much different playing against strangers and playing people but also like sometimes guys like want to play against their friends because like it feels good to get those bragging rights, like yo, like I beat you, like whatever, like that stuff is definitely fun and a good feeling. So how much more intense was it since you guys are trying to just all beat each other and kind of have those bragging rights amongst the team?
Yeah, those games got really intense. I mean, yeah, everyone wants the bragging rights to chat up in the dining hall. But yeah, those we got really intense in those runs, and it was super 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 competitive. I need to
Was
get
there
hold up my low battery on my computer.
okay, okay.
My
Yeah, yeah.
bad.
I was scared, like, I mean, I guess not a big deal, but I like monitor like the interview on my phone on my YouTube to make sure like everything's running smoothly. And my phone's at like 10%, but it's
Yeah,
not like a big deal. Like I kind of stopped doing it. Like now it's just whatever.
let me get a chair.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Well, unprofessional, but
Yeah, it's really I try to make these interviews very like as casual as like I don't mind that
stock
being.
market talk, huh?
Wait, what'd you say?
Stock market talk.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just try to be, like, I guess you could say I try to be professional at being unprofessional. Like, when I go to these games, like, my mom, they got me, like, a polo, like, a dry fit polo. I thought it was cool. I like the way it looked on me, so I gave it to my grandpa instead. But I just go, I have a T-shirt with my logo on it, and that's what I wear. But I
Great.
still act, like, kind of professionally. Like, I'll ask these funny questions, but, like, I'm being serious. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at our interview, actually, this kind of relating to school and like NMH, this player yesterday took the SAT in the morning and then went to the game and showed up late. So I asked him first question. I said, "What are your best test taking tips?" That's what I asked him.
That's funny. I like that. See, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I. Oh, let me see. All right, awesome. You know that player I told you about, the one that like the
Yeah,
interview had to delete. I think I'm still good to interview him, so we'll
great.
see what happens in that. But anyways, continuing on. With those runs, like, was there at all like maybe a favorite moment or something like crazy that happened, like throughout that I guess that bubble experience?
Yeah, thinking about it, I mean, there were a bunch of like posters and ankle breakers, and I was the victim of an ankle breaker, unfortunately, from Sam Silverstein, and it happens to the best of us, and you'll be on both ends of it, but definitely a few posters, a few crazy moves, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and in my opinion, like I feel like that must be so awkward, like getting your ankles broken or getting posterized, like because and then also because you guys go to a boarding school, so it's like it's not like you could go home and then just go back the next day and don't, but you're gonna be with them right after. So how awkward does that get?
I mean, it was definitely tough pill to swallow. I mean, the whole team was on me, and it was definitely tough in the moment when everyone was watching. But I mean, you brush it off. You try and brush it off as a ball player, and get the next one.
Yeah, like I remember like there's this player on my school's team that like we have like two guys on my team this year that could dunk, and then there's the other kid that's on the bench that could kind of dunk, and I don't know how, but he basically posterized the kid that was that was one of like our best players. I don't know how it happened. It was
Wow.
insane, but man, that was actually kind of crazy for sure. But I was next year, being a senior, maybe before we kind of get into like senior goals and like all that stuff and how you're gonna help the team, like how do you think just all you getting used to now this boring lifestyle and grinding on the schoolwork and everything, like maybe how much more comfortable do you feel in that atmosphere?
Yeah, definitely. Every year has been a building block and has helped me out. Just to get ready with the boarding life and just being away from home and playing and playing basketball away from home, and just such a different style, but it's a great style, and I mean, just every year just makes you even more adjusted, and it's amazing.
And again, like I know you're not from America, like you're from Canada and everything. So when you first got to NMH and you're at that boarding school, you're sleeping not even like in the same country away from home. Like you're in technically a different country away from home. So what was that like first year experience like?
Yeah, it was definitely a change, leaving the country, but um, it was just exactly like being in a different place, not being at home, not going back home every night to sleep in your own bed, and meeting different people from all over the world, actually, and just different experiences. It was definitely an adjustment, but in the long run, it was great.
When was the last time you actually went back home?
It's been since Christmas. I haven't been back since Christmas.
Okay, so the Christmas 2020, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. I guess that's not like as bad because I was thinking like maybe he hasn't gone back because I know the people like the guy at IMG or whatever, like Moussa Diabate and the other like French kid, like I don't think they've gone to France in like at least maybe a year and a half. Like they went a long time without going back. So
No, I spent my summers back in Canada.
yeah. So that's definitely not, I guess,
Not too.
terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It's a light. Like 6 months.
yeah,
Nothing.
exactly.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely a long time for sure. But I guess like how were you? Like, did you all get like homesick or stuff like that or no?
I mean, I was at first, but once you just get used, then like NMH becomes your home. At some point, you just live there for so long, and it becomes all your friends become your family, and because we're so close as a team that you just hang around with your brothers every day, and just feel it has a home feeling, and yeah.
And with Canada in particular. So I actually saw whatever that team like the grassroots elite with Elijah Fisher and everything that they're from Canada. And I guess one of their players that I interviewed when I saw him play, he's from Arizona. And this was on Wednesday. I was talking to him, and I asked him like like what what do you think about Canada? Like, it must be kind of crazy. And he's like, bro, like it sucks because I guess like reportedly with the corona and everything, like you can't leave your house without like a pass, or like it's super strict. So is that like one of the more main reasons why you're here and not there?
Yeah, that's probably the main reason I'm sticking around in the U.S. because there's a strict ban on all sports, and there's a like hard lockdown on anything. And as soon as you enter the country, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and it's devastating. I mean, they're taking it a lot more serious than the U.S. But yeah, you're not able to do anything. The best you could do is go for a run outside and maybe play at an outdoor court if the rims aren't flipped.
Yeah, well, but also like I know this at least. I'm pretty sure for the Canadians and everything, like there's been fans at their games and stuff. So like, are things starting to loosen up, or is it more like if you have the ticket, you're allowed to go, but if not, like stay in your house basically?
Yeah, no, they just kind of loosened it up a bit. We used to have a curfew, like a 8 or 9:30 p.m. curfew, but they just now lifted the curfew and are allowing the Montreal Canadiens. They actually just won. They're up 3-0.
Yeah. I was about to say like they're actually doing pretty good.
They're exceeding expectations. Yeah, so I think they're allowing like 12% capacity or something around there, which is it's starting to free up. I mean, I think outdoor dining is available now, and it's getting better. I mean, our vaccination is hopefully, our vaccination rollout's getting better, and hopefully we'll be able to get back sometime soon.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. Like, I want to have like I don't really follow hockey too much. I did when the Panthers were in the playoffs. Then that sucked too. It's just more disappointment for me. That was really bad. But like, do you follow hockey a lot?
Yeah, I was actually a hockey player when I was younger. I mean, I played hockey longer than basketball. It's only my third year of like actual full-time serious basketball, and I was they call me Zdeno Chara a bit because I was always the tallest player and the biggest kid on the ice. But I love playing hockey. I mean, it was, as a Canadian, you kind of automatically like put on the skates and shoot some pucks in the net, and that was just how I lived when I was younger. And yeah, the hockey's great.
Yeah, so I guess that is like a stereotype of Canadians, like, oh, they all play hockey. So I guess that really like a very accurate stereotype.
No, it's an accurate. I mean, nowadays a lot more people are starting to pick up basketball, but there's still hockey's still the most present sport in Canada. I mean, during the winter, there's a bunch of outdoor rinks everywhere, and you always put on your skates and go around and play some hockey.
Yeah, I can never, because since I'm from Florida, like that's never like people play hockey here. Like my school even has a hockey team, but like an outdoor thing like that will never. I don't even know if I might have seen that maybe when I was in Chicago at one point or another, but like that that for me I can never imagine seeing that. But I'm curious, like you said that you started playing basketball really seriously for 3 years, and you were at NMH for 3 years. So like how did you really get into basketball and start taking it seriously, since it's literally been 3 years, like you said?
Yeah, well, I was always playing just like basketball on my own, like just out in the park, and a summer league here and there. But once I started like kind of playing dual sport, I was playing at a hockey program with my school, and then playing like some like it was competitive basketball twice a week, just like in like some like kind of inner city league. And that was just like kind of on the side. I was still mainly a hockey player, and then I decided to, so it's like technically I've been at NMH for 2 years, and I decided to pick up basketball full time in grade 10, and that was my first year of like fully dedicated basketball and quitting hockey, and then my 2 years at NMH. So it's only really been 3 years of full dedication and just pure basketball.
Are you being at all like 6'9" and pretty tall? Was that one of the main reasons why you're like, yeah, maybe basketball is the sport for me?
I mean, partially, but I was still pretty like I wasn't as tall as I am now when I decided to switch over from hockey. But it was just I started to like the game a lot more, and my dad was a player too, and he showed me a lot of stuff, and just it took over.
So, like in Canada, were like you and your dad kind of like the oddballs, since everyone's more into hockey, and then all of a sudden it's like your dad's basketball player, and I guess so were you?
Yeah, well, I mean, basketball in Canada is not the it's not a
it's just like not like hockey level, but I mean, you guys have like the Raptors and everything, so
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basketball Canada is definitely there. It's on the come up. The Raptors winning the championship definitely helped basketball in Canada in general, and I mean, it has the second most NBA play. I mean, it has the most NBA players from any country other than the U.S. So
yeah.
it just goes to show that like the younger generation is starting to pick up basketball, and it's becoming really big. And like I wouldn't say we're the odd ones out, but definitely we stand out because of our height.
Yeah, yeah. But even though like Canada produces like all these NBA players and everything, but I mean, at least like I guess you and RJ Barrett, I guess are two of them. I don't know what all the other ones kind of what they did for high school, but coming to America and playing at least college basketball, like that's like what they all do basically. So I mean, like why did you choose to come to America and play at NMH? Was it because playing college basketball or something here was like the next step for you to get to the NBA basically?
Yeah, well, basically, the U.S. prep route has a lot more opportunities, and the level competition is a lot better, and the education too is a big factor. I mean, those schools are world class, and making the move to the U.S. was it was for basketball and academics, and just the level of competition in the knapsack was a selling point, and exactly my next step was my goal was to play college basketball. So, going to the U.S. Really helped with that.
Yeah, but like you did say how Canada's on the come up and everything with basketball. So like, why did you choose to leave then? If Canada's really producing like a lot of this talent and everything.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of Canadian talent, like Canadian born. I mean, Canada's starting to become a place where people decide to stay and play basketball there. Um, they're not there. I wouldn't say they're there yet. There's a few places that are producing really good talent. Um, but someone from Montreal, where Toronto is the main basketball city, I wouldn't say there's enough reasons to stay in Montreal and play ball there than to go in the U.S.
Yeah, I guess you say because the one thing is, I'm sure it's kind of inconvenient for most coaches to now have to go to Canada to like recruit players. Because I guess like is it maybe because the college basketball in Canada like isn't at the level of the college basketball here in America? Is that maybe like a reason why it's popular to come here?
Yeah, I mean, our we have pretty good college hoops in Canada. I mean, it's university hoops, but I mean, it's not that far. I mean, depending, like my school is only like 5 hours away from my house of a drive, but
But
it's
it's more
just
like, but for
can
most schools, yeah.
yeah, for most schools, of course, it's definitely a drive or hike down to Canada, but it's it's getting there. I mean, that's why a lot of Canadian talent is still going to the U.S. and the colleges in the U.S. are still very ahead of the Canadian universities. Um, there's a few universities in Canada that can compete, and they play against some D1 programs every year and compete pretty well.
Yeah, but I do think that like regardless, I mean, I don't know too much about politics, but like I know I'm pretty sure like America and Canada are kind of like like stepbrothers or something like that.
Yeah, probably they do a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like if there's a country like I probably want to move to, probably like Canada would definitely be like one of my top three options because it's pretty similar.
That's great. Yeah, Canada's a great spot.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess like being from Canada, it's kind of like do you have a connection to any sort of like Canadian ballers that are in the league or like playing in college right now?
You said, do I what?
Or, like, do you have like any sort of like connection or like are you friends with like any of the other like good Canada players?
Um, I wouldn't really say I have a connection with them, but they're doing good things, and clearly
Mhm.
Canada is getting on the map.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of being like again, there are a lot of Canadian players, but there's not, like that like thousands upon thousands of them like currently. So how does it feel, kind of being one of the guys that are trying to help make Canada even more of a valid basketball, I guess, producing country?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely trying to lead and show an example that it's possible to succeed out of Canada. And there's actually a lot of a bunch of Canadians playing D1 ball right now. They're all showing that it's possible and making Canada more of a hotspot to get good talent out of it. And just yeah, just trying to show that it's possible and that you know it's just because you're from another country doesn't mean you can't come and play college basketball.
Yeah, and transitioning kind of like back to NMH and everything. Question I was kind of came up with like, let's say I end up going to let's say I end up like going to boarding school next year or something like that. What would be like your advice to a new like boarding school basketball player trying to get adjusted to both playing on the new team and having to learn like to stay away from home and everything?
Yeah, for the basketball part, just listen. Just be very open minded and listen to your coaches, listen to your teammates who've been there before, and and just go there with an open mind. Have a great work ethic, and just yeah, always give it your 100%. And I would say for the being away from home, it's going to be tough. There's no way around it. But just know that there's going to be better days ahead of you, and just try and make good friends and friends that will feel like family.
And some and I actually just remembered, like I know a lot of the NMH guys like reclassic when they go there. So are you 17 right now or 18? I'm just curious. Okay. Wait, can you say that again? Because like I heard you, but the audio is kind of bad.
I'm
So I was like,
18.
okay. Oh man. Luckily I asked because I thought you said you're 17. So yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, did
I'm,
wait? Could you like
I'm
refresh?
18.
Yeah. Wait, could you refresh your tab just in case? I think it's kind of laggy on your end a little bit.
It's like kind of delayed, low key.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I'll
know like my
refresh it.
all right. All right, yeah. Hopefully that's a little better. It was kind of funny. Like I'd be saying something and you would be like, like a I guess a question before me or something like that.
Yeah, I guess like, can you hear me good now or
Yeah. Should be all right.
is it
I guess
still
this is
quiet?
kind of yeah. I don't know. It seemed like a little bit laggy. I mean, worst case, like we got a pretty good interview in, so if we have to call it, we can. But just kind of like maybe a couple more questions before we end the interview. One, just like what are your goals next year for your final year of high school?
Yeah, my goals definitely want to win a knapsack championship. I mean, that's something that I've been wanting to do for my whole time here, and also win a national championship. Those are the two goals that I think they're very realistic with the squad we have next year, and that's the only focus that's on my mind.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess one more fun question, and then I'll kind of go to the final closing question. The Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight. I'm assuming you're not watching it because I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure you're watching it right now, but do you all have like an opinion on
You hear
that?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you are you able to hear me or not?
loud. This is delayed. Yeah. I mean, I have it's delayed. Jeez.
All right, guys. Sorry, I was just DMing him. Looks like there was a little bit of a delay, but it's no worries. We definitely got a lot of interview, so it's really no big deal. But yes, before we end this thing, Luke, if you're still watching, man, really appreciate you for your time. Definitely a great, fun interview. I honestly I love talking to the guys from NMH because I don't know. I feel like everyone from that school is pretty nice, so definitely enjoyable having this conversation. But yeah, make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram at Luke_Hunger. And I'm at HoopsFL. And anyways, for 2022, Northfield, Mount Hermon, power forward, Luke Hunger. I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another IHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.